Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for inviting me here today.
Thanks for coming and helping me with Elanor.
Yeah. So we're here today to look at Eleanor's anal glands. I understand she's been having some reoccurring anal gland issues and recently been scooting and looking at her anus. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So I've been noticing that she's having problems pooping, and she seems to be experiencing some issues when she is defecating.
Okay. Well, I'd love to help explain some of the physiological aspects of Eleanor's digestive system.
Okay.
Specifically, the anal sacs. Today, we're going to examine Eleanor's anal sacs, explain how they're connected to the overall physiology of Elanor and why they're important to her overall health.
So why do dogs have anal glands anyway?
Yeah, that's a great question, Stephanie. So, to understand why dogs have anal glands, let's first look at a couple diagrams here. All right, Stephanie, so I just want to quickly go over these slides here. The first slide, you see a picture of two different dogs that are pointing out the location of the anal sacs. So they're about 4 and 8 o'clock on the anus, and then you'll see the opening of the perianal sacs, and then the perianal sacs, and just how deep they are on the dog. The second slide here is going to show you the relation of the human anus to the canine anus, and just how closely related they are, and that kind of shows how we've evolved from a common ancestor over the years and why our digestive tract is so similar to the canine. Just really note quickly the perianal sinus there at the bottom, or anal gland, or anal sac, and that is where we're going to be trying to find an Elanor.
So now I know where they're located and how they're connected to her overall health, but can you tell me a little bit more about like the function of the anal gland?
Yeah, well, there's several reasons why canines have, as we just learned, perianal sinuses. The most widely understood reason is that they are connected to scent marking that many animals use to communicate to each other. The majority of mammalian species, like you and I and Elanor and many other species, have very distinctly similar digestive tracts. And it's no surprise that we even have anal glands. They just look a little bit different than Eleanor's. They aren't quite as large, and they don't have the sacs that collect the fluid. But thankfully, we've evolved and have much different communication skills than dogs do.
Wow, that is so fascinating.
Well, maybe I should talk about anal glands more often.
Okay, so we've talked about scooting and excessive licking.
Uh-huh.
Are there any other symptoms that I should be looking for that might indicate that Elanor has a problem?
Well, yes. Other common symptoms may include licking and biting at the tail region,
okay.
Potentially chasing her tail, rubbing her anus on the ground like we talked about, scooting, discomfort when sitting, or reluctance to sit sometimes. Also, pain or reluctance potentially to defecate. So another issue you might notice would be redness or swelling around the anus or the anal region. Perianal draining from you might get abscesses around the anus as well, and that you might notice that in severe cases. So
Okay, so what causes this?
yeah, good question. Well, it's not fully understood. However, commonalities include dietary issues like high-fat diets leading to loose stools. Some breeds are more prone to anal sac issues than others. Most common would be in small breeds. Problems with the anal sphincter, as we learned that the anal sac is really intertwined in between the internal and the external sphincter. Hypersecretion of the anal gland, sometimes diarrhea, may also lead to some anal gland issues. It also seems to be more common in dogs that might be a little bit overweight and don't get as much exercise as other dogs do.
Okay. Can it lead to bigger problems, like more major issues?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. If it doesn't go treated, sacks can harden, become infected. In other cases, they can, as we talked about, become abscessed and may even need to be surgically removed, the anal sacs at times. And if that does happen, as we talked about, since they're so right in between the external and internal sphincter, that can impact their ability to control their defecation. So you might have a dog that is incontinent.
Oh man. Okay, so what do I need to do?
Yeah. So first I want to start by showing you a couple of different techniques for expressing the anal glands. The first we're going to do is an external method, where we really look at her anal glands externally, and then we're going to look at doing an internal expression of the anal glands. Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
And so we're going to deal with this here at home. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to do one, and then you're going to go ahead and do the other side.
Okay.
All right, great. So if you want to come around here, and we're going to lift this tail up and get a really good look at her anus here. So you're going to notice that her anal glands, where they come out, are going to be kind of at the 4 and the 8 o'clock region. And it's kind of hard to see. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to feel for these anal glands. So I'm going to feel for them externally, and you can kind of feel them right here. And you notice how she jumped a little bit because they're a little bit sensitive. So the first way we're going to do this is just kind of massaging them. So this is the first method here. We're just going to try to massage these, and we're going to try to express them similarly to how she would do that herself in the wild, where she's just going to use her muscles, and she's going to excrete it to scent. So I did that. I squeezed pretty good, but I barely got any fluid out. So now we're going to go ahead and move forward and try to get to them internally. So I recommend paper towels. Also, when you put on your gloves, I like to use a little bit of hand sanitizer. Just make sure that we have a sanitary surface. I also like a mask when I'm going to be doing this. And then maybe a little essential oils on the inside of the mask to mask the smell a little bit here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Okay. So this is a little bit challenging. Usually I have a different setup than this, and somebody to assist me. But we're going to go ahead and go in. As we notice, they're at the 4 and the 8 o'clock region, so we're going to squeeze starting down low and kind of squeeze up. And sometimes it shoots out pretty good, sometimes it doesn't. So, and there they go. Sometimes they're a little hard to locate and get. And you see that fluid coming out there. And you want to. So in Eleanor's case, they're about the size of a grape. And they might be anywhere between the size of a raisin to a grape. So when you get them down and empty, they shrivel down and more similar in size to a little shriveled raisin almost. So that was a bit challenging. Just got to really make sure you get it all. And now it's your turn. Let's see you do it. Start with the external method, and then we're going to go ahead and do the internal method.
Okay, so you did the left, and I'm going to do the right.
Right. And then one thing, your thumb is on the outside. And then your index finger is on the inside. And then you're kind of squeezing like that.
Okay, got it.
Great job. I just want to say thanks for inviting me over today. Thanks for being such a good, responsible pet owner.
Yeah.
And while this may not be the most fun part of being a dog owner, it's crucial for her health that we check this on a regular basis. And I recommend getting in the habit of doing a routine check on her and making sure that she's healthy. And, yeah, it's important. Good job.